If you're selling a walking pad on Amazon, you need to properly test your product before selling it. Suppliers may be telling you that they're durable, but without proper testing, you'll see that products are engineered to survive one thing: the return window. I'm going to break down these reviews the way a QA engineer does and tell you the real opportunities that these types of products have. So this first review, this one mentions that it automatically shuts off. So it's mentioning, as you can see, that it actually automatically shuts off and prevents a huge fall hazard risk. So if you think about it, generally when you're on an elliptical or a treadmill of some kind, it has a pull cord. You attach the pull cord to yourself, and when it pulls the emergency stop, it doesn't stop immediately. It still will slow down. And because of that, it's a lot safer for if you do fall or anything, or you need to get off of it. It still is a gradual stop rather than immediately stopping and almost trying to trip you as it does. So that's a big issue on this, and that's not something where it's an accidental failure. That's something that's designed that way. So that's an easy change to make the product safer for the customers. So the second part of this too is to mention that this review mentioned that it was past the return window. So they mentioned that their product failed specifically after the return window, and this is something that is everywhere across this assortment. This isn't just this product. This product has that 3.5 stars, but it's not solely on this item. This is something that is across all of these walking pads. So I'm going to actually scroll up real quick and kind of show you that how the 3.5 stars are broken down, because it's really important that a lot of what happens in this category is a big trend of these products might hit 4.8, 5 stars even, and people will get it in their homes. They'll put that initial review on it, they'll buy it, other people will be buying it, things will be going great. But after a month, after 2 months, when that return window shuts down, people start seeing their issues. They start having the motors break, the product stops working, whatever it may be. They see that issue pop out, and now they go back to leave a bad review. But the product that was once a 4.8, 5-star review are now dropping to 4, maybe even 3 stars too. And the customer is now revisiting this page and thinking that they got screwed over, and it's going to cause them to leave an even worse review. So you'll see that not just on this product, and you could look at a lot of the others in this assortment too. A lot of them are having the same exact issue. So let's say you're the seller for these products. How do you avoid having this issue? It's a great question. So there's one test I would recommend running. It's a test with a rolling weight, and you do that for 200 hours. So let's think about if you ever seen like those foam rollers, right? People use them for stretching. You essentially get something like that that's around 200, 250 pounds, maybe even 300, and I'll discuss that a bit later on why. But let's say 250, you have that on top of your walking pad. Maybe you have something like some pieces of wood that'll actually hold the roller in place on the treadmill, but you place it on the walking pad or treadmill and you just let it run. The pad will keep pushing the roller around and keep cycling it. And if you run that for 200 hours, let's think about how a customer is using it. They use it 8 hours a day, and they're using it for about a month before they're seeing this failure. If you run it for 200 hours straight, you divide that by about 8, get about 28 days, which means you essentially have about a month that you're testing with 200 hours. And you're also able to do that, run that constantly. It takes about 8 days to do. So, in the matter of a little over a week, you get to test about a month of how a customer will use this product. So, if you do that, you'll see a lot of these same results that these customers are getting. And if you have some kind of standard, some product specification, that can help push you to have a better product for the supplier. Essentially, like an agreement between you and your supplier to say that if I buy a product from you, I need to be able to put a roller on it that weighs 250 pounds, needs to run for 200 hours straight without any issues. If you need help with that, just let me know too. I have a whole bunch of templates that can mention that in the school community. Outside of that, there can also be some other things that get serious with this review. So we already mentioned the fall risk, but upcoming are these max weight claims. So max weight, it mentions, is 300 pounds on the product. This customer is only 140 to 150 pounds. And if they're seeing this issue after a month, you need to better recommend what that 300 pounds means. Because if you're just saying that, hey, if you're 300 pounds, you can step on this, versus if you're 400 pounds, if you step on it, it'll break. Or if 300 pounds just means that if you are 300 pounds and you start using it, it's going to wear down faster. And if so, how long? How long does it wear down faster? If you're 300 pounds, will it break in 2 weeks compared to being able to last a month? Something like this, you have to specify out. Is it 300 pounds, you can't use it? What does that mean? And a good way to look at that is essentially doing that same roller test, but with 300 pounds, maybe 400 pounds, and see how it changes while you're running on it. That'll help you better issue a good weight claim for your product. The other thing for this issue also mentions cracking sounds. So intermittent cracking sounds. In another review afterwards, it actually mentions cracking sounds again. This one mentions it was after walking for a while, it started cracking. Another review mentions that it was actually cracking right out of the box. So get yourself one of these products, do the roller test, look at it beforehand, see if you see any cracking, because one of the customers mentioned it was right out of the box. But try to recreate this issue. The first thing you need to do is tell the factory to recreate the issue, but you should be doing your own testing to also see how you can do it too, because if the factory already said that this is a durable product, they might not be the most trustworthy too. So make sure you're doing this testing yourself so you can verify what the factory is telling you as well. And here's where things get worse too. The sellers are also mentioning this is a quiet product. So let's talk about the quiet claim, because customers are saying the exact opposite. So this next review mentions, again, disappointed with the performance, but I want to hone in on this quiet part of the claim, because they're saying that it wasn't the cracking noise like the next review's mentioning and the previous review's mentioning. It's actually just the belt and the motor that are making the noise. And that's just normal use for a product. So let's think about a quiet claim. They're actually pretty easy to substantiate, because if you get testing, let's say you do an assortment, you get 3 normal products from the stores, from the assortments, and they're the non-quiet versions. And if you can be half a decibel quieter than those, you can make a quiet claim on your product. But customers won't understand half a decibel quieter. You have to actually tell them, this is how quiet it is, this is how loud it is. Compare it to something that they already know. Is it a fan running on low? Is it a toilet flushing? Is it a refrigerator running? What can you compare this sound to that will make it better understand, so the customers can better understand the product itself? So quiet claims are really difficult, but could all be solved with one PDP picture that says, this is how quiet we are, and this is something you can compare that quietness to. So all of this products, or all of these issues, could have been resolved with one product test and one PDP picture. And this is products issues that are all across this product, all across these reviews, all across the assortment. So if you're able to do these two things, you're already a step up from most of the assortment as is. And if you want to see more information about some other videos where I talk about a USB fan with 3.3 stars that also got torn apart because of sound, click here and check out this next video.